Add these 3 steps to your sales process, and I guarantee you can double your income overnight. 2x it. Hey, I'm Chad Murray, chadmurray.biz. I help home service business owners scale their business. How do I know how to do it? Well, I scaled my own business to 4.5 million and stepped out of the operations side of the business to where I didn't have to set an alarm anymore. Gained my own freedom back in 2014. Now I still manage the management. I still help with sales, but you know what? I do not go to work. I don't even have an office at my $4.5 million service business. So why? Because if I had an office there, it means I work there. I don't work there. I'm the true entrepreneur. Although I'm in the business a little more than that sounds. I mean, I do help with the sales process. I do sales meetings, and I manage the management. But I mean, like right now, that's just after Christmas. I haven't been to my business in 6 weeks. I've been on the phone with everybody 4 or 5 times a day, quick calls, not 4 or 5 times a day, 1 or 2 times a day typically. And so, anyway, so let's get into it. So, there are 3 things that you need to add to your sales process if you are not doing these 3 steps. I guarantee you will 2x your business. Number one, a setup call, not the booking. Now, you book the call and then you do a setup call. Now, if you're booking for tomorrow, unfortunately, you're going to need to do the setup call at that time or call them back later. Like if they call in the morning, call them back that night and do the setup call. But preferably, you want to have some buffer time. So let's say they call on Monday, they scheduled for, let's just say even Wednesday. Call on Monday night, if it's Monday morning, but typically in the morning it's tough to do it. But anyway, you want to get this call in, even if that means even uh, literally late at night the night before. Try to get this call in. And why? Because this call is going to build rapport. It's going to give you more idea what the job is. You're going to get to know their intent on how fast they want to get the job done. You're going to get the tone of the client better to know how to react to them in person. What type of client are they? Are they in and out? Are they actually interested in your job as much as you'd like them to be? What's their time frame? All these questions are going to come out. So that's that. The second thing you should add is a client confidence statement when you're there to do the job. As part of the sales process, I'll show you you want to make sure that you want to provide them with security that you are the right guy to hire. And I'll tell you how to do that here in a little bit. And the next thing is when you're about to write up the entire bid, is ask permission. And so, and there's another step to that as well. And then I got a little bonus for you too at the end. So let's start off here with set up the call. All right. So you're going to call them a day or two before. Try to do it a couple days prior so you have that buffer time to get a hold of them. And the first thing you're just going to literally just going to call in and introduce yourself. That you'll be the sales guy. Do you have 5 minutes to talk to me about your project? Of course, most 99.9% of the time they're going to say yes, sure. Or they'll tell you a time that you maybe call back and you do it then. So number two is that you're going to go and you're going to ask them, what are you looking to do, with this project? Tell me a little bit in your own words why you called. And then you're going to go into, why, when was the last time you might have had the service done either by us or by somebody else? Um, you're then going to kind of get into the process of the timeline of what it's going to be like when you show up. So I'm going to show up. I want to sit down and talk to you a little bit more about the project in more depth and detail, and then we're going to walk the house, the project, whatever your service is, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to write it up. We're going to come in, and all that kind of stuff, all that kind of stuff. So you're going to kind of give them the process of your process. Okay, now this is important. You're going to do what I'm going to say right now. You're going to do this 3 times as part of the sales process if you ever start working with me. And that is you are going to get all decision makers there. You're going to ask and you're going to fight to get all decision makers there. You don't want just one of the husband. You don't want just the spouse. You want both, the husband or just the wife. You want both of them. You want everyone who's there that's going to make the decision to be there. So you have to ask. You have to try to get everybody there. Because what you're going to do is when they say, well, my husband, let's say you're talking to the wife. Well, my husband works till 5. I said, then what I would suggest you do is rebook it. Rebook it to try to get them. They're going to now know you are serious about what you're doing here because you want every decision maker there. You're not just coming there to give a bid and to get out. That's the strength of this. People think it's the opposite. It's so hard to go through this step with sales guys, even my own guys at Master Services, my company. It's like, no, it's not that hard. You just gotta know why you're doing it and believe that we want to be able to make the sale and get it done as fast as possible. Not, and I don't mean fast as possible as bad quality. I just mean we want to get it on the books as fast as possible. Not just for us, for them as well. And you're okay. So one of the next things you're building rapport. You want to get the all the you want to talk about the logistics. Tell them what it's going to be. If there's when we're going to be there, go through the booking thing again. Um, Tell them that there will be a deposit if you guys do a deposit, and then you're going to say you're going to give them another qualifying statement. If when we get done with the estimate and everything else, this is important now. If we get and then we agreed upon the price and everything, we can get this done. We can sign this job. Is this something you want to get done as soon as possible? Another statement, right? And then you set the confirmation, and then you close them. Say, I'll see you next, whatever. So that little form I kind of just spelled out. You can rewatch the video. I would write it all out, and I would do that, and I would literally start having that as a script for you guys to call. It will make it. You already start the rapport. They have the expectations of what you're gonna do. It's like you already show up and you know them. And so, okay, here's the next thing: client confidence statement. So now, when you walk into the job or to the client's house for the first time, and you're in there, and you walk in, most people, I don't care what you are, a maid service, a window washing, plumber, most of the time it's when you get to the companies that are doing over $3 to $5 million, we do a sit down. You're probably under $1 million. You're not sitting down. You're probably going right to it, and getting right to your estimate and all that. So, well, the sit down is where the sale happens. So you sit down, and you go through your sales process, which is similar to that setup call, but way more in depth. But at some point in time, if you're not doing this, you don't have to do this in the sit down, but you must do this even if you're standing up there with a clipboard, you're teaching the guys to do this. This statement is super important. You're going to ask the client, okay, I know why in my own words. I Tell me in your own words, why am I here? I know what the call center told me. I know what my work order says here, but tell me in your own words. And the client's going to reverberate something, right? Blah 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 blah. And I'll give you an example. So I'm in the chimney industry. Well, our chimney hasn't spoken for years, and we're scared of it. And so blah blah. And so what? Here's the statement: repeat what they said, and that you fix it all the time. There's a million ways to do this. So yeah, my chimney's been smoking for years. Yes, ma'am, we've been fixing smoky chimneys for years. As a matter of fact, just fixed one last week at Mrs. Johnson's house just around the corner. And so now if you repeat it and you say that, you now just got client confidence and you prove that you're professional and you know how to do it. This statement, I promise you, if you watch the client and you present it correctly and you present it with heart and you're looking at them straight in the eye and you say that, you will see their demeanor change. Their whole aura, not that I'm into aura stuff, but their whole aura will be literally, you'll see like a breath of air come out of them. We watch it all the time. It's hilarious. So you just learn to just literally say, "Why am I here?" Tell me in your own words. They tell you whatever the issue is, and then you say, "Okay, yeah, we've been fixing that for years. Matter of fact, we just did one last week, or yesterday, or today, or we're blah blah blah. This is what our main business is. And even if it's obvious, doesn't matter. Give them the satisfaction of knowing that you are the right people for the job. Okay. Number 3, permission to write the job up. So important. This is a newer one to us that I learned from another sales guy, trainer, is when you've gone around with the client and it's time or maybe he's with you or she or maybe they're not, it's time to write it up. Now it's important to go ask permission to write it up. You found stuff. Is it okay if I go write it up? It's going to take me about 10, 15 minutes. I'll be back in here and we can discuss it again. And we can sit back over at that table. This is why if you sat down in the beginning, you're already comfortable over there. That's one of the reasons why you do a sit down. You're already comfortable. You established your office. So anyway, you say, "Is it okay if I write this up?" Blah blah blah. And then so of course, that's why you're here. Blah blah blah. You're gonna get comments like that. And here's where it's important. A lot of times you're not gonna have the spouse there. So what you're gonna do is say, "Okay, since I don't have Mrs. Smith here, is there a chance that we could get her on the phone? And then when I get back, that we can have her on the phone? There's a lot of stuff, information I'm going to go through here that we have her on the phone. That way, like we said, in the beginning, as part of the sales process, we want to get this job done as soon as possible. And we also said that in the setup call too, right? And so let's get the decision makers, you guys together, and let's get this thing rocking and rolling. How does that sound? I'll be back in about 10, 15 minutes. Now, I didn't really give them an opportunity to respond to me. I did not. I'm setting them up to please get the spouse on the call. What's going to happen here is one of two things. They're either going to get the spouse on the call when you present all your findings and your pricing, or they're in there talking about it. They already know that there's a price coming, even though they did already, and they're hopefully getting permission from the other spouse to purchase, even though they don't quite know the price. And so that's why it's so important to do that. So, okay, so there's your setup call, client confidence statement, and permission to write up. So what's our bonus? What is the big bonus? The big bonus is this. Something that a lot of businesses don't do, and it's the one thing that rapport can make a huge difference, even if the client doesn't go with what you're asking. So you call on the way. What you're going to do in call on the way is you're going to, whether you're doing it or not, you teach your technicians to do this, you offer them to buy them something. Watch this. Let's say it's 9 o'clock. My first appointment in the morning. Ring, ring, ring. Hey, Mrs. Smith, this is Chad with Master Services. I'm calling to give you, a 5-star experience today for your chimney inspection. I'll be there in about 30 minutes on my drive time because I'm going to go stop over at Buc-ee's and I'm going to get me a donut and a coffee. Would you like a coffee? Any kind of coffee? I mean, Starbucks, even type of coffee. I'll be glad to buy you one. You wait for the response. Most of the time they're going to say no. But if they don't, you buy them a coffee. Oh my God! But you just established a rapport that no other service person has ever given them before. Even if they don't buy it, you're already setting up the type of person you are. That right there, and then so in the daytime, you say you're going to stop by QT or whatever Circle K's or whatever you call them, wherever you live at, convenience stores. You're going to stop and get a soda. Would you like something? And so, would you like a soda or a candy bar? Whatever you offer. You're just starting to build the rapport. And it's just it sets you apart. What's going to set you apart if you have 3 other bids that are exactly like yours? Well, these 3 things will set you apart, and these 3 things will double, possibly triple your business.